I was once unable to wave at Prince Charles because I was holding a wounded seagull.
Please, team.
Is that your nickname for David?
I think it might be.
First of all, why were you holding a wounded seagull?
I was taking it to a vet.
Right.
Can I ask, where was this and what was the event that Prince Charles was attending?
It was in London. I saw him out of the window of my car.
You were driving?
Initially, the seagull was on the passenger seat.
Right.
But it got a bit jumpy.
I've seen you drive.
So I picked it up because I was worried it would flap around the car.
So basically you're driving like Rod Hull?
It was wrapped in a blanket.
Why did you have an injured seagull in your car?
I'd seen an injured seagull in the road.
Yeah.
And I picked it up to take it to a vet. Prince Charles was standing on the steps of a town hall, a grand building, and he waved, I suppose...
He waved at you?
Well, I think he was waving more generally. I felt I should wave, but that would have required letting go of the seagull.
Did the seagull get treated by the vet? Did the seagull recover? Do you know where the seagull is now?
To keep in touch.
He's here tonight.
The vet practice accepted the seagull for treatment. I don't know what became of it.
And then you just left him there?
Yes.
Well, let me tell you what happened to that seagull. Before you'd got back into your car... Sorry, that was a duck.
Can I just ask you a question? Have you hosted a light entertainment programme before?
They were very nice about it. I said I found this little creature in the road. I let them keep the blanket.
How sentimental was the blanket?
Not very.
So what does David hold now when he's stressed?
Have you always had a soft spot for wounded animals?
Yes.
All right. What do you think, Asim? Is she telling the truth?
I kind of want to believe it because it's a lovely story, but I don't know.
If he really waved at her, she's dropping the seagull, she's waving back. So at least she'd have lifted the seagull a bit and gone...
Going, look, can't wave, seagull.
Don't worry, it's not a swan.
So what's it going to be, Lee?
Say it's a lie.
You're going to say it's a lie. OK. Victoria, were you just telling us the truth, or were you telling us a lie?
It was true.
Whoa! Our next round is called This Is My, where we bring on a mystery guest who has a close connection to one of our panellists. Now, this week, each of David's team will claim it's them that has the genuine connection to the guest. And it's up to Lee's team to spot who is telling the truth. So please welcome this week's special guest, Stuart. So, Victoria, what is Stuart to you?
This is Stuart. He once laughed so much at something I said on Only Connect, he passed out.
Right, so Victoria's fainting fan. Greg, how do you know Stuart?
This is Stuart, and when I opened his butcher shop, he paid me in sausages.
Greg's butcher buddy. And finally, David, what is your relationship with Stuart?
This is Stuart. He's the lollipop man. He's the lollipop man whose lollipop I held when he was suddenly called away on non-lollipop-related business.
So, there we have it. Lee's team, where do you want to begin?
Right. I've seen Only Connect. First question, what was the team called?
No, he wasn't on the show.
Oh, he's in the audience?
A viewer at home.
Oh, he's a viewer at home?
Well, you'll know, Lee, because you've seen the show, one of my hilarious jokes. He actually passed out at home from laughing.
Right. Do you want to have a little bit of time, or do you want to tell us that hilarious joke? But before you do, I must warn you, watching at home, you might want to turn the volume down. What Victoria is about to say could kill you.
It wasn't really a joke, it was a story. So one of the clues was a picture clue, and it was Schnorbits.
Bernie Winter's dog?
Yeah, the dog, exactly.
Very well done. Obviously, you'd have to identify all 4 to get the points, but... And I told a story as background to the question about the time that Schnorbits fell into Terry Scott's swimming pool and had to be rescued by Barbara Windsor. Control yourself, Stuart.
That story resulted in somebody laughing so much. Well, my God, it's the way you tell them.
I think what really got Stuart might have been my subsequent quip. That's a party I'd like to have been at.
No, even with that, I'm...
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a nice, witty comment. I could crack a smile at home. I might even, if I was watching that, I'd go...
It's not necessarily a joke. I think it was just... It's a funny story.
Is it not true that the average Only Connect audience member may be, you know, a little bit elderly and people are just regularly passing out anyway?
It's a practical question. If this happened in his house, how do you know about it?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
His family wrote to me and said that he was hospitalised laughing at something I'd
They
said.
weren't after money, were they?
No, they said, you know, they thought I'd like to know about it because maybe I would send him a get well soon card, which I did.
All right. Who would you like to quiz next?
OK, so, Greg, what's the name of the butchers?
Sampson's.
Samson's?
Sampson's...
But
Yeah.
he's risking it a bit, having his hair cut like that, isn't he?
It's Stuart Sampson, so it's his butchers.
Samson's Butchers.
Because I grew up in Bromley. It was our local family butcher. And then...
He used to butcher families. But only if they live locally.
Yeah.
I'm the local family butcher. Do you live local and have you got a family?
Yeah, he's the family butcher, and then when I left and then I got onto Radio 1, Mum and Dad still know Stuart, so he said, would Greg want to come down, maybe bring Radio 1 down, bit of press coverage.
OK.
So,
Do you like sausages?
love sausages.
Oh, great.
Who
So
doesn't
this
love
is like the
sausages?
perfect way of paying you, because you don't have to pay tax on it, you don't have to declare it. Did you declare
I don't need to get
it?
into that. Why are you...
But this is
We're all getting paid in sausages, so... It's a new thing.
How far ahead of this gig did you know that was... Presumably, you were just doing it as a favour to an old family friend.
Well, we did it as a wacky bit on the radio.
Oh, it was
So-
included on the radio show?
So we went to his shop and we were broadcasting live from the butcher's.
OK.
And so we sort of cut the ribbon, but it was a string of sausages.
Right.
So that was the...
And what, did you do a speech?
Well, I said, here we go, welcome to... Welcome...
Did you write that yourself?
It got better.
Oh, right. There's one way to go, though, to be fair.
Now, what about David?
David.
Lollipop man,
So
standing.
you held his lollipop stick so he could go and do non-lollipop duties.
Yes.
So, first of all, what were the non-lollipop duties?
He had to hurry home because a sofa was being delivered.
Presumably, then, he didn't actually return, so it wasn't
He didn't return.
So it wasn't a short standing, you were
You were the lollipop man.
I was for I mean, I would say between 9 and 11 minutes. I
Wow.
was-
Let's just say, like normal people, for about 10 minutes. Did he give you the uniform?
He gave me his hat and this sort of flory jacket thing.
Tabard thing.
Yeah, and the all-important rod of power.
How many children do you think you helped cross the road?
Say maybe 30.
OK, so between 29 and 31. And did you... Did you have any banter with the kids?
No.
Did you just do your usual of, hurry up?
No, I think I probably, I went, oh, right, yes, this way.
This way?
This way.
I think they way.
Can I ask a question about emotion?
Well, he won't know the answer.
How did you feel when you were the lollipop man?
Holding the rod of power.
I felt a bit stressed, but it went fine. Only a couple of minor injuries.
Tell us about how it began. Were you there dropping off your own child at school, or did you just happen to be on one of your long runs in the morning? I mean, what were you doing?
I was dropping off...
I think what Rob's asking is, what were you doing within 200 yards of a playground? Given the, you know, given the court
most
order.
people are allowed.
Right.
Wait, hold on a minute. Did David tell you about this story about the lollipop guy?
OK, well, first of all, this isn't true, because Stuart is a person that laughed at one of my jokes.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm completely... Yeah, come on.
This is new territory on the show now.
Yes, I'm in a slightly odd place philosophically. Let me say, I'll use the conditional tense. Were this to be true, which it isn't, David certainly would have come home a bit flustered and told me what occurred.
David, you've obviously heard Victoria telling you about Stuart fainting. You've heard about that? And you...
Well, no, because it's not true.
All right, we need an answer. So, Lee's team. Is Stuart Victoria's fainting fan, Greg's butcher buddy, or David's lollipop lender?
I think it's Victoria.
Why?
I just know, I just had an... Because first I thought,
Yeah, but
OK,
she told us the joke.
No, I know,
I'd like to say, all right, it was quite amusing, but it wasn't even that.
But the punchline was, oh, I would have loved to have been at that party. That was the punchline. Was that the punchline, or...?
You haven't seen my show, have you?
No.
I don't watch it, it's too risky.
Yeah.
Victoria, how did you feel when you heard the news?
About the injury?
No, about your husband being a lollipop man.
I would say it was a mixture of concerned and delighted.
Right.
To have told a story that was so funny someone was hospitalised... Maybe you'll find out one day.
All right, who is telling the truth?
I think it's Victoria, personally.
I'm just going to put it out there. It's Greg, and I know you two don't agree with me.
You think, Victoria, you think Greg?
Go on, Captain, you decide.
Yeah, you go.
It's me or him. You decide.
It is literally 50-50.
Can I just say it might be me as well?
We are going to go with Victoria.
Stuart, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Stuart, and I laughed that hard at Victoria's very funny story.
Yes, Stuart is Victoria's fainting fan. Thank you very much, Stuart. Which brings us to our final round, quickfire lies, and we start with... It's David.
Victoria doesn't know this. But on those very rare occasions that she does something I find irritating, I get my own back by sneaking upstairs and moving her bookmarks.
Team.
When you say Victoria doesn't know this, surely when she goes to the book to read the book and she goes where the bookmark is, there must be lots of instances where she's thinking, am I losing my mind? I'm not following this book, or...
Yes, that's exactly what she thinks.
That's the plan!
Yeah.
Victoria, when you're reading a book, do you ever sometimes have that feeling of being lost? Do you ever have
I
a
have
feeling
sometimes opened a book and thought I didn't think that's where I was.
How many books are you reading at the same time?
I mean, 7 or 8.
David, how many books does Victoria read at the same time?
Oh, I'd put it between 6 and 9.
And do they tend to be fiction, non-fiction?
Yes, those are the main two types.
And what are the things you said, sometimes rare occasions, Victoria does something
I
that...
don't want to go into that.
No, I mean, far away.
No, I don't want to go into
What
that.
sort of things are we talking about?
No, just behavioural things. just the simplest things to do with things she said or done. That's all it
Maybe
is.
when I ask you what the weather's going to be like, and I go, what do you think it's going to be? And you go, I don't think anything. I've looked at the weather forecast, and what it says is this.
Little things like, yes. Essentially, she holds me responsible for the weather forecast, as if I've made it.
No, she
But I've
doesn't.
just
She
read
says,
it out.
what do you think the weather's going to do? Perfectly reasonable.
It's not perfectly reasonable.
What?
She's got access to the weather forecast on her own phone. It's just, these are meteorologists. Sometimes they get it right, sometimes they get it wrong. I'm just reading it out.
They are physically sitting further apart, have you noticed?
Is there anything, Victoria, that you might do to David if he'd annoyed you? What would your retaliation be, if indeed he is moving?
Well, he might find out.
Incidentally, I've been feeling weaker and weaker over the years.
OK, what are you going to say?
I believe in their relationship. I must be just the most naive person here because
I'm
I want
invested
to...
in it.
I am. I'm emotionally invested in their relationship, and I do think David's a nice guy, and I don't think he would do that because that really would upset her.
So what we're saying is, if it's true, it's a really unpleasant thing and a really bad indictment on their marriage.
Yes.
Well, this has taken a nasty turn, hasn't it?
What's it going to be?
I don't want it to be true, but...
Oh, I do.
You think it's...
I want his life to fall apart. This would be such fun.
I think it's true. I don't want it to be true. I'm trying to, see the real person. I think he's a nice guy.
Now, the David I know, I don't think this is unpleasant enough.
Well, you know him way more
Yeah, but
than we
also,
know.
David doesn't like you. He loves. So it's a different relationship.
That's true, yes. But he doesn't hate me, right?
No. Even though, Lee, you on television have said you want my marriage to fall apart, I still find you an adequate colleague.
Can I ask you a question, David?
Yeah.
Are you still writing for Clinton cards?
It's time to decide. What are you going to say?
I'm going to say true, but I don't want it to be true.
It can't.
Yeah, sorry.
No. It's a lie.
It's got to be a lie because it's an awful, awful thing to do.
It is.
You're saying it's a lie.
I really
Because
hope it's a
nobody
lie.
would do that.
If this is the truth, it's awful.
It really is. They're saying it's a lie. David, is it true or is it a lie?
It is a lie.
If I ever get stuck on a crossword clue, I phone Tim Henman for help. He hasn't let me down yet.
Right.
I think that's a very cruel lie. He hasn't let me down yet. We all know what that's an allusion to. His repeated letting down of the entire nation. I think it's, tennis is difficult. And I'd just like to say I wouldn't necessarily have won Wimbledon. Obviously, if I'd practiced as much as Tim Henman, I'd bloody well expect to, but nevertheless. Right, so how do you know Tim Henman?
I met Tim Henman when he was promoting a sort of tennis academy thing, and I went and played tennis with him at Wimbledon.
Did you play at Wimbledon?
Yeah, I should say I was right about it. It wasn't just like, oh, Victoria Coren's got to come in and play.
You used to ring up Tim Henman to ask him difficult crossword things.
Yeah.
How did you get round that sensitive issue of going 6 down?
So Tim Henman is particularly good at crosswords.
He's got to be good at something.
Once again, I would say that Tim Henman is relatively good at tennis. So he could almost be a professional.
Victoria, I'm curious, of all the people you meet in the course of your job, you choose a tennis player of sorts to advise you on crosswords.
He's very into crosswords.
So you're saying at this point in this clue I can't get, what we need is some of the skills that it takes to, choke during a tie break.
You're turning against him now, aren't
Make
you?
your mind up. Which side of the fence are you on?
Yeah. How did the subject of crosswords come up when you were
Because I was
playing
doing
this?
a crossword while waiting for him. He was doing
To serve, to get one in.
That's why you kept losing.
I was doing a crossword
And
and he came in and it was kind of a bonding thing because he said, I like crosswords, let me have a look.
What do you think, Mackenzie? Do you think it's plausible?
I think it might be plausible, yeah. Cryptic or just regular?
Well, he's not an idiot. You don't bring someone, oh yeah, it's got 3 letters, household pet, starts with D.
Cat.
Mackenzie thinks it's plausible. Packham is saying...
I think it's sadly probably true.
Right, so you...
True.
Come on.
I don't have to think.
You're saying true? True. OK. So, Victoria...
You think I phoned Tim Henman to ask him the answer to the crossword, please? Obviously, that's a lie.
It's a lie. Victoria doesn't phone Tim Henman for help whenever she gets stuck on a crossword clue.
What was the reaction to you? What was that? What was
Well, first, it's like, you know, my team were like, what are you doing? Like, this is ridiculous. But, you know, afterwards, they were like, that was legendary, mate, you know?
How long after? Sort of like 5 years after?
Yeah, around 10 years later. But the thing is, though, the reason why it was so spectacular is it wasn't just a normal own goal. I didn't just, you know, it was a kind of a scissor kick. Yeah. Now, you're looking at me and going, this isn't the physique of a football player.
That's absolutely right.
If you see me on, like, Soccer AM or some other shows, you'll see that I've got techers, mate. You know what they say, you know, you either, was it die a hero or live long enough to become a villain? So I was like...
Who says that?
Is that... I think I got the quote wrong. Is that the quote?
Not quite.
You know what I mean.
Let me ask you a question. What were you known for at school before that incident?
I was...
Misquoting people.
I was complete, like, school clown. I actually got an award for bunking in school. I was never there. They gave me the early bird award. I used to turn up in the morning, sign in, and then go out. I did stuff like that. I was
The
zany.
teachers gave you a prize?
Yeah, at the end of, like, year 11.
Had they fully understood their role?
Looking back, I don't think they did, because I was really proud of that award.
So, well, it's, in a sense, the school is at fault if this is true, because they've established an educational environment where doing what is ostensibly the opposite of the aim of any exercise is to be rewarded.
Yeah.
So you said, no, I'm not going to do the obvious thing and score in the opponent's goal. And how many serial killers went to your school?
I quite enjoyed the vision there of Parents' Night. First Parents' Night for you two, I think that school is going to be trembling.
Yeah.
Well, you say that. If you look at that lineup there, doesn't it look as if they're just dropping their Greg off at university? Victoria. He's not your biological son. You are David's far more beautiful, younger second wife. And you don't get on with Greg, that's coming across. So what are you going to say?
Oh, Greg, you must know more about football than we do.
I think it's true. I think he's a big enough clown to have done that.
What do you think?
I think if Greg thinks it's true, let's say true.
I think it's true.
Okay. She's trying to bond with her stepson.
Asim, was it true or were you telling a lie?
It was... a lie.
Oh!